Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am here to talk about Jeremiah Wells versus Matthew Semelsberger. Both of these guys are kicking ass in the UFC. Semelsberger does have 2 losses, whereas Jeremiah Wells is 3-0, I believe. But still, Semelsberger has proven to be an above average welterweight in his short time in the UFC. And Jeremiah Wells, even though he hasn't, he's only had 3 fights, he's looked perfect so far. Perfect. He knocked out Court McGee, knocked out Warley Alves, which is a very fucking tough debut. And then he submitted Blood Diamond, which, it's not as impressive, but still, it was a fucking shutout for Jeremiah Wells, aside from when he, twisted his ankle or whatever stuck his foot in the cage trying to circle out before they even, touched gloves. It was just like a fucking mess. But either way, Jeremiah Wells, he's 11-2-1. He has 9 finishes, 5 via TKO, 4 via submission, and just 2 decisions. He's got all 9 of those finishes in the first 2 rounds. He's the former CFFC and CES champion, which means he's gone 5 rounds, and he's done so plenty of times. In fact, his 2 losses come in 5-round decisions. He lost to solid fighters, this guy Emmanuel Wallo and this guy Vinicius de Jesus. That's his last loss, and it's a fight in which he arguably won the first round, but then fell apart kind of. He lasted the whole 25 minutes, but I thought, it seemed like he was fighting not to lose. Maybe he had some serious cardio management issues or something. But Jeremiah Wells, he's a guy that is a versatile fighter. Again, finishes all 4 of his submission wins come by rear naked choke, but there's still, he's got 4 submission wins and just 5 KOs. The thing is, I think the KOs are all KOs. I don't think there's one TKO there. Maybe one. But from everything I've seen, he's a knockout artist, and he's got that big power. And he's fighting Matthew Semelsberger, who also has that big power. I mean, Semelsberger has 2 15-second knockouts in the UFC. 15 seconds. Maybe one's like 17. I don't fucking know. But despite what you can say about his opponents, which Jason Witt, he was chinny, not going to lie. And Martin Sano had like 5 fights maybe at that point. So, and a big layoff, I believe. So despite all that, though, he's still got 2 knockouts in 30 fucking seconds. And we've also seen him fight hard for 15 minutes in winning and losing efforts. He beat Jake Matthews and AJ Fletcher by decision. The Jake Matthews fight, of course, was his last performance, and that's the one where I picked against him, and I have to admit, it's the best he's ever looked. I thought his only advantage was power in that fight, and it was the biggest advantage, to be honest. That's where he scored the majority of his points, in my opinion, with knockdowns. But he looked damn good. And in the AJ Fletcher fight, that was more of a wrestling battle, and he was the last man standing there. And in his 2 losses via decision to Alex Morono and Chaos Williams, he showed a lot of grit, a lot of heart, real durability too, especially going 15 minutes with Chaos Williams. And he showed he can fight hard in the UFC, at the UFC level, against good, capable fighters, even in a losing effort. He was actually the last man standing in that Alex Morono fight and almost put him away, kind of like Ponzinibbio did. It was exactly like the Ponzinibbio fight, only Morono made it to the final bell and got his hand raised. But Semelsberger has 4 losses as well. The 2 decisions in the UFC, and then he lost in the 3rd round on the regional scene. Twice. Once by submission, once by knockout or TKO. This guy Jerome Featherstone, who I believe is a boxer as well, got him out of there in round 3, but I don't know how the fight looks, where the finish happened. And he also lost, I believe, by heel hook. I don't know. And, of course, he was knocked out as an amateur by William Knight, which I should mention, Jeremiah Wells was knocked out as an amateur in one of his 2 amateur losses. And it's on YouTube. It happened in, 2011. It's fucking irrelevant. I just want you to know that I saw it. But, man, some sloppy striking, nowhere near the fighter he is today. You can totally dismiss that loss. The Semelsberger losses as a pro, though, I really wish I could see. And the William Knight loss, because I'm sure it'd be fucking fun to watch. But Semelsberger, man, despite being finished a few times and whatever, he's a guy that I really trust. I trust his durability. I really do. I can't say he's the slickest submission artist, but I trust him on the ground in general. I certainly trust his wrestling capacity in the UFC. And on the feet, he can throw down and he can knock anybody out probably. And I think he can take it. He took it from Chaos Williams and even Alex Morono, who's not the biggest power puncher, but he's a damn good striker. And I think this fight can go either way, to be honest. I'm staying away from it betting wise. Real in general, the one sprinkle I threw is Jeremiah Wells by decision at plus 400. I just think Matthew Semelsberger is pretty durable, and if Wells was to win, despite him getting all these finishes as of late, he might have to resort to a little wrestling and try to, mix shit up to outpoint Semelsberger. But in general, I'm staying away from this fight. If I was forced to give a prediction, I guess I'd go with Wells winning via decision, but I could see either guy winning by knockout or submission. With the age of Wells, the past finishes against Matthew Semelsberger, and the power of both guys, I can't trust anything. So I'll just throw the slightest of sprinkles on my actual pick, which I guess will be Jeremiah Wells by decision. But I just hope this is a damn good fight. It's one of those that could produce a bonus or a fight of the night. A finish or a bonus in an exciting fight either way. Like, share, subscribe, all that horseshit. Check out my other videos.